Masterchef, BBC One, Moan, has gone rogue. Okay, it was hardly reported, but the first round of the new series of this foodie competition was a flop, a souffle that didn't rise. And this show has been going since Lloyd Grossman deployed vowel sounds to curdle the hollandaise. The new format was so odd I wondered if a producer had suffered a brainstorm in the MasterChef kitchen early one morning and no one important had noticed. Normally, presenters John and Greg, the cookery equivalent of Morecambe and Wise, chat inquisitively to the new contestants, asking where they're from, how interesting, and the like, and why they are cooking this dish that I've never heard of before. Taro then seeks out his trademark Asian fusion dish, while Greg, a pudding freak, sniffs out the potential for crème anglaise. This series didn't disappoint him on puddings, by the way. But something else happened. In the first round, the duo disappeared into another room altogether for the audition round, not meeting the contestants at all. "We're going to have a restaurant experience," they said. "No, you're not. You're in a brightly lit TV studio with the word MasterChef, shouting out from every vacant space." They stood at separate raised benches to eat, and looked completely lonely with nothing to do. Was it work to rule industrial action, complaining about the amount of food they have to eat? Whatever, it was awful. It would have killed any other show. Here, it killed the atmosphere completely. The thing about these two guys is that they're incredibly likable. Don't hide them away in a broom cupboard and have dishes brought to them like they're Lord and Lady Muck. I've been experiencing the joys of a repeat. Well, half a repeat. Why didn't they ask, Evans? Moan, 2's, Wed, ITV, one of the more bonkers titles from Agatha Christie, has been on proper telly after getting a run on BritBox, just like Magpie Murders, BBC One, sat. With no Miss Marple, or Poirot, it's all down to Bobby, a used car salesman, and Lady Frances, currently underemployed, to solve the death of a man at the bottom of the cliff. Amateur sleuths create twice as much tension, boosted even more when Lady Frances inveigles her way into the house where the killer may live. And what a brilliant car crash stunt, too. The appearance of a very creepy Hugh Laurie at the end of episode 2 added to the drama. A quality adaptation, with a fine cast which is worth catching twice. Now introducing a new reality star, Chip Shop Charlie from Tempting Fortune, C4, Moan. For want of anything better to watch, you recognize the feeling. We tuned in to see this right. Charlie survey 3 bottles of beer in a bucket, to see if it was worth paying £100 each for them. "It won't be, mate," we all shouted. If you drank one, the £100 would come off his own personal prize pot. Our Charlie looked puzzled, but finally succumbed, downing one immediately. He wasn't the only one after they changed rules, effectively taking all of the conflict out of the format. Previously, the money came off the entire prize pot. Just when it was getting watchable. If you're interested, most people got around £22,000 regardless of whether they were tempted or not. More than 1 million viewers watched the final episode. More tempting than I thought, but in only the most dire circumstances is a bottle of beer worth £100. And finally, the shock of the week. In succession, Sky Atlantic, Moan, did someone pull the trigger too early? Well, maybe, just maybe. In case you've not seen the episode, I will disguise the surname of the Roy who has passed into TV heaven. It's Roy. There you are, it could be anyone. The episode began ominously, a gathering of Roys on a dockside, about to board a massive yacht for a family wedding. What could possibly go right? Very little when Roman Roy is in charge of something. He'd been asked by Logan, Brian Cox, to sack Jerry, the interim CEO of Logan Roy's company Waystar. Roman couldn't do this. It was like leaving a child in charge. He simply toyed with the prey until she realized she might have been fired. The reason for this can't be explained in a family newspaper. So while on the yacht, we lost a Roy, but another Roy went ahead with the wedding. Hey, why not? Everyone's here. Then the waiting game, who would lie and say they loved the fallen Roy? They all did. Roman was the best, you did a good job. At the very end, was there a tiny hint of pathos? The show now has a very large hole in it.